Hey y'all, it's Natalie for Not Just for Boys Kit Club today, and I'm using the Intrinsic Limitless kit again to scrapbook these two photos of me and my husband on a birthday adventure that I took him on a couple years ago. So I'm going to use the background paper as the uniquely creative Main Street parking lot paper, that lovely wood grain, and then I chose the 49th and Market Curators Meadow, the caps paper as my inside pattern paper. And I'm just going to play around with scraps from the rest of the kit. I'm thinking about using these rust paper leftover strips, but I actually decided not to. I decided to go with the cardstock cut that come with the Intrinsic Limitless kit because we were celebrating my husband's birthday and it's a banner, so kind of like a celebration. So I pulled out the Curator's Meadow ephemera pack and the beautiful stars, the puffy stars, and I'm matching a Distress Oxide to the stars. I'm going to use Wild Honey, and I'm going to just snip off one of the layers of the banner. I only want one layer. I'll use the other one later. And I'm going to use that Wild Honey to color the cardstock cut because I wanted to add a little bit of color to the layout. The ephemera is very colorful, so I wanted to put that into the cut file as well, since I chose pretty much a very muted background. So I do the Wild Honey with my ink blending brush, and then I set it aside to dry because your Distress Oxides need to dry for a good long time. And I use some regular white cardstock and I ink it up with some Wow embossing powder, and I'm going to use this beautiful sage glitter to heat emboss some cardstock and use that to back the cut file because I love the beautiful sage green color that is in the Curator's Meadow ephemera kit, but I didn't have a paper that color, so I created a paper that color. So I'm going to let you watch the beautiful melty goodness here with the Wow embossing powder. And a lot of times I do 2 layers of embossing powder, but in this instance it was enough to just do one. It covered it really nicely and it's shiny and beautiful, and it matches the green colors in the Curator's Meadow really beautifully, as well as the green puffy star you can see in the top right there. Those puffy stars are exclusive to Not Just for Boys, and they're so fabulous. Beautiful. I love some good glitter, right? Rustic sparkle is my style, so I'm gonna use that to back each of the little banner pieces here. So that's what I'm doing. I won't make you watch all of it, but just to give you an idea, I kind of do it messy at first, just get all the pieces stuck on there, and then I go back once the glue has dried and trim it up and make sure that none of the excess is hanging over the sides. And I'm showing you how well it matches. So I put that on there, and immediately I'm not loving the color. I don't know what it was. It was a little orangey for me, I guess. And so I decided to fix it. Distress Oxides layer really beautifully. So I pulled out the Fired Brick Distress Oxide because that's another color in the Curator's Meadow kit. And I use that and I leave patches of the Wild Honey showing through, but I cover it up. And so they blend beautifully, and then you can still see individual colors. So I cleaned off with a little bit of a damp paper towel, the heat embossed paper. It just cleaned up easily when I used the Distress Oxide over it, kind of like a resist technique. So that was nice. Now I'm trimming down my photos to fit onto these little tags that came out of the ephemera pack. And I'm going to use another one to do my journaling, but I'm rounding the corners because the little cards had rounded corners, so I like the photos to match. And I'm loving that color a little bit more, that I mixed those two. And so I am kind of deciding where I want to put everything on the page and where each tag will go and where my title will go, but it needs to pop up or stick out. So I use this card, which is like a mustard colored card from the ephemera pack, to house my title. And then I decide to bring that ink blending into the background a little bit to kind of bring some cohesion to the page. So I use the same 2 colors and layer them up again all the way around the edges of the cream colored 49th and Market paper. And I really love the color that this brings to the background because it was very neutral, and I'm just not a neutral kind of gal. I can appreciate it and look at other people's layouts and I like it and I appreciate it, but for me, I'm just like a more is more kind of person, which you can see by this layout. There's a lot going on in here. So I did use my sewing machine. I had to get my husband to come fix it. He's so handy. So he did. He came and fixed it because the needle was off or something, and it kept like hitting the bottom part and breaking, which was super frustrating. So he fixed it for me. So I did a nice black sewing strip around the edge of that paper, and then I used some black ink to ink up the edges of the cardstock cut along with all of the ephemera. And that just helps everything pop off the page really well, and again brings cohesion by giving that little pop of black to all of the pieces on the page. So that's kind of how I'm gonna assemble everything on the page. I am gonna pop up the cardstock cut and the title piece on some foam tape. But this is something I learned from Missy. Of course, she taught me everything I know basically from watching all her old videos, but make your embellishments work for you, right? So I made that cardstock cut work for me by cutting it to only be one length. And then my adventure word, which is from my stash, was in a stack of 3, but I thought it would look better as a stack of 2. And so I just cut it apart and made it reads better for me. So make them work for you, make your embellishments work. Take things off if they don't work and only a piece of it will work for you. Not Just for Boys Kit Club is super fabulous with their packaging. And so this twine is from a past kit. I always save all the twines that come in the kits. And so I love this black one. I pulled it out because this kit had charms in it. And so it was perfect to tie this charm onto the title card. So the charm says Brave. And so essentially the title will say Brave Birthday Adventure. We did a ropes course and we kind of did the harder levels. I almost died. I actually probably held my husband back because he could have done a little bit harder, but it was so hard and it was really fun because once you did the ropes, then you got to kind of ride a little zip line down. Highly recommend it if you have the upper body strength, but I saw kids there. I will say my kids would not have been able to do that. And they're like 7 and 10. Well, they were young, 2 years younger at this point, but still. It was hard. And I'm not saying like I'm a super strong person either. I definitely don't have a ton of upper body strength, but just know it going in, like you gotta have some strength. There was a girl like dangling is why I say that, because you don't want to get stuck dangling. It was hard and it took him a while to come get her. So I'm using another piece of twine from another kit to tie another charm up at the top. That one says Fearless, and I love the way that dangles between the banner pieces. So I'm just got everything like kind of how I want to stick it down before I commit to anything. I put the date on there. I did have to pause to go do my journaling because I had to look up our credit card statement from 2 years ago to see where we went for dinner. I looked back on my Instagram post and I didn't talk about it. It wasn't super spectacular, so it wasn't really that important. But I looked at my old credit card statement and included that in my journaling. So now I'm just kind of sticking everything down, making sure to pop up those 2 pieces on the foam tape. And I like to kind of overlap all the pieces and have them touch just a little bit. That helps bring cohesion to the page. But I think we're about done. So check me out on the Not Just for Boys Kit Club vlog today. There are still a few Intrinsic Limitless kits in the store. So if this one tickles your fancy, definitely go over there. I'll put the link down below. And let me know if you have any questions. I had a lot of fun with this layout. It's a super fun kit. It's really fun for fall. And I know if you're like me, I'm kind of getting ready for fall. I'm ready for those fall vibes. So I just sprinkled a few of those cute little puffy stars around the page. I love them so much, and stay tuned. They're their specialty. They might be coming up in more kits, right? You see how they're tucked in? I love it so much. So you can see all the detail shots on the blog. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please like and subscribe. Bye, y'all.